German Chancellor Friedrich Merz has announced a major shift in Berlin's approach to Moscow, signaling a potential turning point in the long and often turbulent relationship between Germany and Russia. This announcement comes at a time when Europe is grappling with heightened tensions and uncertainty on the continent. Merz is calling for the European Union to restore a balanced and pragmatic relationship with Russia, emphasizing the need for dialogue and cooperation over continued estrangement. He stressed that the EU must not allow past grievances to dictate the future, but instead seek common ground. At a New Year's reception in Halle, Merz declared that peace and prosperity in Europe depend on finding a new equilibrium with Russia, moving away from years of confrontation and sanctions. He argued that only through engagement can Europe hope to secure lasting stability and growth. He framed this as a continental imperative, not just a German concern, linking Europe's security and economic future to renewed engagement with Moscow. Merz urged European leaders to recognize that the fate of the continent is intertwined with Russia's trajectory. Addressing business leaders, Merz acknowledged the economic strain of the ongoing conflict and signaled that the costs of isolation are driving Germany's strategic rethink. He pointed out that German industries, from manufacturing to energy, have been hit hard by the current standoff. The speech marks a turning point, suggesting that Germany sees the current strategy as unsustainable and is seeking a new path for stability. Analysts say this could open the door to a broader European debate about the future of relations with Russia. By choosing an audience of business representatives, Merz underscored the economic urgency behind this diplomatic pivot. He made it clear that the private sector's concerns are central to shaping Germany's foreign policy going forward. His message is clear: Germany and the EU must adapt to new realities, or risk falling behind in a rapidly changing geopolitical landscape. As the world watches, Merz's bold stance could redefine not only German-Russian relations, but the future direction of European diplomacy as a whole. Merz's new stance marks a dramatic reversal from his previous hardline position, surprising both supporters and critics alike. Just months ago, he was one of the most vocal advocates for a robust German response to the war in Ukraine, urging the government to take a firm stand against Russian aggression. He championed military support for Ukraine, pushing for increased aid and a decisive defeat of Russia on the battlefield. His rhetoric was uncompromising, reflecting a sense of urgency and moral clarity that resonated with many across Europe. But now, a combination of economic pressures, mounting military fatigue, and growing public war weariness have forced Berlin to reconsider its approach. The costs of prolonged conflict are becoming harder to ignore, both for the government and ordinary citizens. Germany's pivot now aligns it more closely with France and Italy, forming a powerful bloc within the EU that advocates for renewed dialogue with Moscow. This coalition is pushing for a diplomatic path forward, hoping to balance security concerns with the need for stability. However, this shift doesn't mean abandoning concerns about Russian aggression. Merz continues to call for ending Germany's dependency on Russian energy, emphasizing the importance of energy security and diversification. Instead, Germany seeks to establish a stable political relationship with Russia, while simultaneously building greater economic resilience at home. The goal is to protect German interests without sacrificing core European values. This new strategy aims for both security and autonomy, reflecting a broader European trend toward pragmatic engagement and a more balanced foreign policy. Berlin's recalibration could reshape the EU's internal dynamics and its approach to Russia for years to come, signaling a new era in European diplomacy and security policy. Germany's policy shift is echoed by France and Italy, signaling a new European consensus on engaging Russia. President Macron has called for structured talks with Moscow, emphasizing Europe's need for strategic autonomy. Italian Prime Minister Meloni supports dialogue but insists on EU unity to prevent Moscow from exploiting divisions. The alignment of Berlin, Paris, and Rome creates momentum for diplomatic engagement, making it harder for hawkish states to block talks. This consensus is driven by the war's mounting costs and the realization that a Ukrainian military victory is increasingly unlikely. Europe's leaders are responding to military stalemate and economic pressures, seeking a pragmatic path to stability. The push for diplomacy comes as peace talks over Ukraine remain deadlocked, mirroring the static front lines of a grinding war. Recent US-led and Ukrainian peace proposals highlight deep divides, with neither side willing to compromise on core issues. US President Trump's public criticism of Ukraine's negotiating stance has further complicated Kyiv's position and Western unity. On the battlefield, Russia's advantage is growing, straining Ukraine's resources and leverage. This military reality is fueling Europe's urgency to find a political solution before Ukraine's position deteriorates further. Moscow has responded to Europe's overtures with cautious optimism. President Putin has signaled readiness to restore normal relations, but only if Russia's core security interests are respected. These demands, Ukrainian neutrality, territorial status, and limits on NATO expansion, remain non-negotiable for the Kremlin. Putin's message is aimed at both the West and the wider world, portraying Russia as open to engagement if its terms are met. This stance turns Europe's call for dialogue into a two-way negotiation, but the gap between sides remains wide. The challenge: can Merz's vision of balance be reconciled with Putin's security demands? The answer will determine whether this diplomatic opening leads to real progress or another stalemate. Europe stands at a pivotal crossroads as Germany, France, and Italy push for a bold new relationship with Russia, hoping to reshape the continent's future. The decisions made now will have far-reaching consequences, not just for these nations, but for the entire European Union and its neighbors. If these diplomatic efforts succeed, the rewards could be immense: an end to the devastating war, much-needed economic relief for millions, and the creation of a more stable and secure European order. Such progress could also restore confidence in Europe's ability to manage its own security and prosperity. But the risks are equally significant. A rushed or poorly crafted deal could embolden Moscow, undermine trust, and alienate Eastern European allies. This could fracture the unity of both the EU and NATO, making the continent more vulnerable to future crises and external pressures. Restoring ties with Russia may help ease soaring energy costs and bring relief to households and industries, but Europe must be careful not to fall back into old patterns of dependency that have proven risky in the past. The central challenge remains: finding a settlement that addresses Russia's security concerns while fully respecting Ukraine's sovereignty and ensuring the safety of Europe's eastern borders. Achieving this delicate balance will require patience, creativity, and unity among European leaders. The coming months will be a true test of Europe's diplomatic resolve. Will this rare window of opportunity deliver lasting peace, or will it close as quickly as it opened, leaving the continent facing renewed uncertainty? The world is watching closely to see if Europe can seize this historic moment, overcome its divisions, and forge a new path toward lasting security and prosperity for generations to come.